That's about as big as they get out here. That Okuma Scott Martin Matt Daddy Cerros reel. Do a little work flipping some weeds.
Hey everyone, this is Clayton Westgate Blue Basser 86 with BassResource.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Scott Martin Okuma Tournament Concept Series rod. This is the Matt Daddy, which is a 711 heavy rod, along with the Okuma Cerros bait casting reel. This is the 273V, which is a 7:3-to-1 gear ratio reel. That reel retails for $100. The rod's $149. I'll start with the rod. I'd never owned a punching rod before, and I gotta say I was really impressed with this rod. 711 heavy. I was expecting a really broomstick stout, heavy, physically heavy rod, and this was not what I got when I received this rod. It's very lightweight for a nearly 8-foot long rod, and it obviously has a lot of backbone. It's a stout rod. It's what it's made for. It's built for dragging big fish out of heavy cover, but it's not so stiff that you can't really work with it. It doesn't make it difficult to flip and pitch short distances. The tip loads enough to get that done, because I wasn't using a real heavy weight. We don't have any real heavy vegetation in Kansas. Most of my work I was doing with a 3/8 to a 1/2 ounce, but even with a weight that small, which is towards the bottom of its rating, which is a 1/4 ounce, 1/4 to 2 ounces. So even towards the lower end, it was still functioning like I expected it to. Sensitivity was great. I was able to feel them really well. Most of the weeds we fish are water willows, which anybody that's fished them before knows that the fish will a lot of times tell you that they're there before you ever feel them, but I was still able to feel them just fine. It's got a kind of a combination EVA foam cork handle, which I know some guys don't like that foam. I love it. It's really comfortable for me to fish with. I guess there's concern about them getting grimy, but it's a fishing rod. It's gonna get dirty, but mine's got a little bit of slime on it already. But hey, you just know I'm catching fish with it. The reel 7:3-to-1. It's got the magnetic adjustment on the sides. Line capacity is 130 yards, 12-pound test. I got this one loaded up with 50-pound braid because I was flipping vegetation. Obviously, that's the only way to go when you're flipping weeds. And it performed very well. I love the handle on it. It's got the swept handle, and it has the big fat foam knobs on it. It's really comfortable whenever I was winching a fish out of the cover. I had to wait a little while to get the rod. This rod's been so popular, they haven't been able to keep it in stock. And they've had difficulty getting more of them in, so I had the reel for a little while before I got the rod, and I was using it fishing a buzzbait, a spinnerbait primarily, and I had 15-pound big game while I was doing that, and it functioned really well. Cast a mile. Obviously I wasn't making long distance casts once I got it on this punching rod, but it was working great doing that also. So if you're looking for a good all-around reel in that $100 range, you might want to check that out. The rod, I really don't have anything bad to say about it. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is the guide down here close to the reel. It's not something I'm used to. I guess you're supposed to grab the line above that first guide whenever you're doing short distance flips. I've never owned a punching rod, so I was unaware of that. Every time I tried to flip, I was grabbing it right above the reel, and a lot of times my line was wrapping around this guide after I pitched or during my flip, and it was messing with my accuracy, but not anything too terrible. That was really the only thing that I had with the rod. It was performed great. Unfortunately, I didn't get to catch any large fish with it. About 3.5 pounds is the biggest fish I got to catch on it, and that one wasn't even in heavy cover when it bit. So yeah, I didn't really get to test on any of the monsters, but it's just a matter of time before it happens. It's got this nice keeper on the back of it. Hook your bait on. I had to open mine up a little bit to get that big flipping hook to fit on there, but it's nice. Keeps your bait out of the way. Keeps it off of the above the reel where most guys tend to grab them when they pick them up out of the box, so you don't end up with a hook stuck in your hand. So if you're looking for a new punching rod, I would definitely suggest checking that out. That is the Okuma Scott Martin TCS. That's the Tournament Concept Series Matt Daddy rod. There's your specs on the rod. That's a 711 rod. It's a big rod for winching out those big fish. It's $150, so it's not going to break the bank at all. That's a very affordable piece of equipment. And if you want to get outside of the Shimano Lose Dieable box, you might take a look at that Cerros. I've been pretty impressed with it. I think you might be impressed with it too if you give it a shot. So that's my review for the day. Hopefully that'll help anybody out that's had any questions about this particular rod and reel. Thanks.